Good morning from the East Coast of Florida. We're in Fort Lauderdale. That's a canal behind me. Welcome to today's beach report. A lot of interesting things going on in the world these days. I feel like I was born for these times. You know, I always wanted to be a writer. And when I was in high school, I decided that the kind of writer that I wanted to be was a journalist. And then I went to journalism school. And I learned how to write for newspapers, magazines, even television. I was very well educated. Sorry about the noise going on behind me. They are totally redoing someone's roof over there. Been watching it all morning. Anyway, hope you can see me. Hope you can hear me okay. Probably see me okay. Can you hear me? Hey, Janet. Good morning from South Florida. So, our governor, Ron DeSantis, came on like an hour ago, and he drilled it home. You know, Florida lives in freedom. There were times during the COVID that I questioned it. Thank you, Janet. But I did realize pretty quickly that we Floridians were not being subjected to the kind of crazy authoritarian rules that many parts of the country were experiencing. I remember during COVID early on, didn't stop me from driving around and seeing people and doing my job. And I knew that I was actually reporting on probably one of the most important stories of our lifetime. And I took my responsibilities as a journalist very seriously. Thank you, Cliff. Thank you. And I really wanted to get the story right. And I did it through Facebook for the most part, a little bit of X. Well, it was Twitter back then. I found Twitter to be, you know, very liberal, very put your mask on, get your vax and shut up kind of situation. And YouTube also, really everywhere censored us. We speak English here, Mr. Russian person. Anyway, I do feel like I covered the story of COVID the best that I could for my own followers, who really are not everybody in the world. I'm not CNN. I'm not Fox News. I'm not even Breitbart. I'm just the Beach Report. During COVID, I would take every one of my followers, and there were hundreds of thousands, and I would take them to the beach. Well, there would be like 2, 3, sometimes 400 or 500 people on the beach with me. And I had broken onto the beach because during COVID, they ridiculously told us that fresh air and sunshine was somehow unhealthy. Well, I didn't believe that for 1 minute. I also didn't believe that putting a mask on my face is going to save me from anything. I didn't believe in any of it. And I conducted myself accordingly. Hi, Night. So during COVID, a lot of people watched me from all over the world. Some of them watching to see if I would die. Because there I was, skipping in the waves, showing people my feet in the surf, happy as a clam. Well, not happy. The COVID days were not happy days. But I took people to the beach. And I let them see that you didn't have to wear a mask. You didn't have to. If you were a healthy, normal person, the best thing you could do is get outside and get some exercise, get some fresh air. And that's what I did. I didn't let anybody inject foreign substances into my precious arms. I just lived my life. I hugged people. I actually got engaged to my husband. I had a few meet and greets. I did all sorts of things during COVID that we weren't supposed to do. And here I am, still unvaccinated, healthy as a horse. Unfortunately, it seems like everyone around me is sick and not doing well. Yeah. COVID was real in the sense that it was a real pandemic, is what it was. I think COVID was really the flu because the evidence to me is that nobody ever got the flu, but they got COVID instead. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Janet was working stocking shelves 5 nights a week during COVID. Well, I wasn't really in public during COVID because, as most of you know, my husband was sick and had cancer, and so we were in a farmhouse raising peacocks. I had my horse. Aloha, spirit. Anyway, those were the days, my friend. We thought they'd never end. Thank God they did, 'cause they really were a pain. Okay, so I wanted to talk to you guys about some of the things going on right now, especially the fact that there's no more fluoride in the water in Florida. This is really important, and this is why I'm talking about COVID, because putting fluoride in the public drinking water is akin to medicating everybody. And it's so, so very wrong. And it's been going on since I was a child. Sometimes I wonder, how are we still alive after being subjected to all these poisons and poisoned food and poisoned drinking water? And I like to think that I might have given myself a little bit of time because I moved to Switzerland in 1990 and stayed there for almost the next 10 years and had my children there. Because of everything I'd seen in America, I felt that this was a really dangerous country. So, I don't know. What's debatable, Night? Fluoride in the drinking water? Debatable about whether it helps or whether it hurts or what? Well, I'm glad that you're here, Spirit. So here, I'm going to read you some stuff I researched about fluoride in the drinking water. On May 6th, is that today? I think that's today. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis announced his support for Senate Bill 700, a groundbreaking piece of legislation that bans local governments from adding fluoride to public drinking water without state authorization. Oh, about COVID-19. Yes. Okay. You know, it's even amazing I can say the words COVID-19 now. It used to be I'd had just call it the Schmid because of all the F checkers coming after me just for talking about it, you know. Even now I think I just like a year ago I had to go through some kind of training on YouTube here to learn not to talk about the Schmeiber Schmeckschmin. You know, when it rhymes with Schmeiber Schmeckschmin. Yeah, that stuff. YouTubers are actually, if we talk about it, I think if we say good things about it, or maybe, I don't know, probably just the good things, yeah, we get banned. We get in trouble. Yeah, vaccination, right, Night? How about the shot that was supposed to end it all, right? Oh yeah, 95% safe and effective. What a lie. What a lie. Every single person I know who got that shot got COVID too. So, and talk to me about more like 95% of people got it. Anyway, back to the fluoride. On October 1st, 2025, this banning fluoride is supposed to take effect. This decision marks a significant shift in Florida's public health policy and has sparked heated debate across the state and beyond. So Senate Bill 700 prohibits municipalities and local governments in Florida from fluoridating public water supplies unless explicitly authorized by the state, sorry. So they've been putting fluoride in the water, like I said, since I was a child, and that's like, well, I'm going to be 60 this year, so yeah, we're basically talking about probably more than 40 years. They said that it would prevent tooth decay. And if that's true, then how come every time I went to the dentist, well, not every time, but like twice a year or something like that, remember those trays of that gel and like tasted like bubble gum, and they would put that on your teeth as intense fluoride treatments? Yeah. What was that about? If we were being force-fed fluoride in the water, why did we have to get intensive fluoride treatments too? Donna says, fluoride in the water since the early 60s and the late 50s because I have no cavities or feelings because of it. I got plenty of cavities. It didn't stop me from getting cavities. Hey, Anthony. I think some people are more prone to cavities, like people who eat a lot of sugar. And that would be me. And I did that for many years. I ate like a crazy person. Sugary cereal. I was a real sugar addict. I've stopped doing that, but well, thank you. So this bill is part of a broader legislative package supported by DeSantis, which also includes Senate Bill 56, which bans geoengineering and atmospheric manipulation, like cloud seeding. Yeah, ketchup and caramel Coke. No, those are two things I did not eat. And I never believed in sodas, and I never drank sodas. So yes, I was a sugar addict, but I was more about candy, like candy corn, which I still have a problem with to this day. Tone it down, Anthony. It might be genetic. I don't know. I just, I liked my candy, but I don't eat it anymore. Now I live like a diabetic. Because if I get my hands on a little bit of sugar, I just go crazy. I just go nuts and I want to eat it all. It's a bad thing. And I try not to do it because, it spikes insulin and it's not good for you. Actually, sugar feeds cancer. I think that sugar is one of the biggest scourges of our diet here. And what about geoengineering and atmospheric manipulation? So didn't they tell us that that wasn't true? Yeah, they copped to cloud seeding and stuff, but they said that the chemtrails were just, what is it, vapor in the sky, right? What's up with that? Because those clouds aren't just vapor. Vapor dissipates, right? It goes away pretty fast, like in minutes. And then we look in the sky and we see these lines, and they're not normal. They're not real. And you're right, good sugar is local honey. Also, maple syrup is good sugar. You can eat those. Hi, Nimolka. That's a pretty name. My brother-in-law says they're just vapor and they only show when there are certain temperatures outside. I don't think so either. And yes, you can hire companies to make sure it doesn't rain. And that is geoengineering. And that is cloud seeding. And they do admit that they do that. So it's a real thing. So it's interesting to me that if these things don't exist, then why are they being banned? So Senate Bill 700, which is against fluoride, and Senate Bill 56, which bans geoengineering and cloud seeding, are framed as measures to protect Floridians from unauthorized chemical exposure and prioritize public health. And here's the word we're looking for: sovereignty. Yeah. You saw that race, didn't you? Where sovereignty beat journalism. It was kind of biblical. Just saying. Anywho. So Governor DeSantis said these bills ensure the Floridians are not subjected to chemicals in their water or air without proper authorization. Oh, you got that right. Donna says when they locked down the country and nobody could fly, there was nothing in the sky and the sun got very bright because there was nothing to block it. I remember that. Yeah, you weren't wrong. A lot of things happened when they did that. A lot of wildlife, especially around here in Florida, and the water and the oceans. They were everywhere in a way they hadn't been. So it was really interesting. The fluoride ban aligns with DeSantis' administration's focus on reducing perceived overreach by local governments and questioning long-standing public health mandates. Why ban fluoride? The case behind the decision. I am not on WhatsApp. And I do not talk to people, men especially, I don't know. Okay? I'm a widow. I'm not looking for a boyfriend. So look somewhere else. Go find another woman to talk to, okay? Go on OnlyFans or something, because we don't do that here. Okay, here's some facts about fluoride. Fluoride has been added to public water supplies since the 1940s. So long since before I was even born. In many U.S. communities, endorsed by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. I do not like them. They said it was a safe, effective way to reduce dental cavities, especially in children. However, opposition to water fluoridation has grown in recent years, driven by concerns about health risks, personal autonomy, and scientific uncertainty. I trust the science, they said. The science is always right, they said. Yes, put the perv in timeout, thank you. Critics argue that excessive fluoride exposure may be linked to health issues, including neurodevelopmental effects in children. A 2019 study in the JAMA Pediatrics suggested a potential association between prenatal fluoride exposure and lower IQ scores in children. They're saying that the evidence remains contested. Oh, yeah, of course they are. Exactly, Knight. Tap water doesn't seem to be safe, especially if they are putting chemicals in it. DeSantis, other concerns included dental fluorosis, which is cosmetic damage to teeth, because if you take in too much fluoride, it like turns your teeth soft or something bad happens. Oh, they said there could be thyroid dysfunction, bone health issues with chronic high exposure, particularly in areas with naturally high fluoride levels. Oh, and another reason why I probably also got my cavities and didn't get enough fluoride exposure was because the house I grew up in had well water. So we didn't have fluoride in our water. And then, I moved to Switzerland in 1990, and there was definitely no fluoride in the water there. That was some of the best water ever in the world. People actually used to come to our little village of Mariastein with empty, carafes, jugs and stuff to put water in from our local village fountain. It was crazy. It was like living in Evian. Yeah, well water's the way. Hi, Yasser. Opponents of fluoridation view it as a form of forced medication, arguing that individuals should have the right to choose whether to consume fluoride rather than having it added to public water supplies. I mean, who thinks it's a good idea to put a medication in the water when you don't even know the dosage? And especially with children, you're going to give little babies this tap water that has medication in it? Yeah, I can't do anything about the building. I'm sorry. Actually, I'll just turn around because it's maybe you can see they are they are making a new roof over there. That's what's going on. So maybe this is better if I turn the camera to the other side. Then you don't have to hear the crazy sounds of putting on a roof. How's that? A little bit better? Sorry about that. The way it goes sometimes. Now you can see the city of Fort Lauderdale behind me. The CDC considers water fluoridation one of the top 10 public health achievements of the 20th century, citing its role in reducing tooth decay by 25% in children and adults. How do they even measure that? That doesn't sound like something that you can actually definitively measure. The ADA and the American Academy of Pediatrics strongly support fluoridation, arguing that it benefits underserved communities with limited dental care access. I'm going to call BS on that one too, because every community that is underserved, they do still have a dentist somewhere, and they do are able to put fluoride in the children's mouths in those little trays that they did for us when we were kids. So I'm not really believing all of that. Just saying, oh, let's put it in the water. But, if you're a hillbilly and you're living in, the mountains of West Virginia and you don't have access to a dentist or anything, I'm pretty sure that your water is not even fluoridated. Am I right? How many hillbillies living in the mountains have like access to city water that's fluoridated? Just saying. Hey, Q Cycle Crew. So yeah, so I'm gonna call BS on the increased dental cavities situation there, because if you have no access to city water, or if you haven't, sorry, you have no access to a dentist, you probably don't have access to city water either. Yeah, so that other noise is a truck backing up. It doesn't stop. It just doesn't stop here. Try to do a show and it's like a nightmare. Doing the best I can. Okay, the truck is done. Sorry about that. The public health people, the ones that thought that we should all put masks on our little children and ourselves, they think that fluoride is safe. Decades of studies have found no consistent evidence linking low-level fluoride exposure to serious health risks. Well, if it's so low level, is it really stopping people from getting cavities? I don't think so. Dental disease costs billions of dollars annually, and healthcare expenses. Critics warn that removing fluoride could increase these costs, straining public health systems and disproportionately affecting vulnerable populations. Yeah, I don't think so. Anyway, residents will now have to rely on alternative fluoride sources. There's fluoridated toothpaste, available in any store, by the way. There's mouthwash, which you shouldn't use, but it's available everywhere too. And then, of course, there's your dentist who's got those trays. So, yeah, deal with it. There's many ways that you can get fluoride without having to drink water with fluoride in it. So I think it's wonderful that Governor Ron DeSantis has done this because water is life. And this information, this act, I think it's a game changer. All right, well, all of the noises outside are kind of ruining my show, so I think I've said all that I need to say about fluoride. But if you are watching on the replay and you've got some interesting things to say about fluoride yourself, please put them in the comments. We can continue this discussion, and I would love some more likes. Thank you for pointing that out, Spirit. But absolutely share this with your friends, like and subscribe. I can't do this without your help. And that's what I do. I actually don't buy toothpaste. I make my own. You know how easy it is to make your own toothpaste? I'm going to leave you with this one. All it takes is some coconut oil, some baking soda, and maybe a dot or two of essential oil like peppermint or spearmint or cinnamon or something that you like. And all you have to do is mix that stuff up into a little kind of a paste and brush your teeth with it. Super great. Another thing that you can do is oil pulling. And that's where you take coconut oil. But I'm going to give you an even better way. Coconut oil for 20 minutes takes a long time in your for 20 minutes. It's harsh. So my alternative is castor oil pulling, which you only have to do for 2 minutes. Spit it out, and it's like your teeth feel fresh and clean. It's kind of weird, but I love it. So anyway, these are my public petitions night. Right here, public. Yes, don't spit it in your sink. Exactly. Clogs the sink. So spit it into something else. Be careful. Sorry about all the construction work. So annoying. Anyway, we'll see you on the next beach report. Ciao for now. Have a wonderful rest of your day.